Hello everyone, welcome to our video on class 12th Physics Art Integrated Project on topic Dispersion of Light. We, Ekta, Kajal, Payal, Kushali, Shruti and Swati are students of class 12 Science Jnv Jamnagar. So let's get started.
What is dispersion of light? When white light is passed through a glass prism, it splits into its spectrum of colors in order violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. And this process of white light splitting into its constituent colors is termed as dispersion. The simplest way to explain dispersion is through dispersion in the prism. In optics, dispersion is the phenomenon in which the phase velocity of a wave depends on its frequency. Media having this common property may be termed dispersive media. Sometimes the term chromatic dispersion is used for specificity.
The color is associated with wavelength of light. In the visible spectrum, red light is at the long wavelength end, approximately 700 nanometer, while the violet light is at the short wavelength end, approximately 400 nanometer. Dispersion takes place because the refractive index of medium of different wavelengths is different. Blue light has a shorter wavelength, so it is scattered more easily, but red light has longer wavelength, so it is not scattered much. The blue-colored light present in white sunlight is scattered much more easily than the red light. Standard deviation is the most commonly used measure of dispersion. It is measure of spread of data about the mean. St is the square root of sum of squared deviation from the mean divided by number of observations. It is a mathematical formula, but for the calculation easier formula is used.
Experiment of dispersion of light. What is the signification of dispersion of light into its spectrum of color? Newton was the first to conduct his experiment on passing light through a prism. He let sunlight pass through a prism, expecting to see the white light on the screen placed at the other side, but instead he showed the spectrum of light after dispersion. By controlling the size of the inlet, he allowed only one color, therefore only one wavelength of light to pass through the prism. Obviously, the ray of light was refracted and did not undergo any further dispersion. Therefore, he realized that different colors of the spectrum of light bend differently as they have different
Wavelengths.
Examples of dispersion of light in our daily life. After the rains, we see the rainbow in the sky, which is due to the dispersion of sunlight. When the petrol mixes with the water, we can see different colors, which is due to the dispersion of colors. Dispersion of colors in a soap bubble. Dispersion of colors on CDs. Dispersion in wave motion. Any phenomena associated with the propagation of individual waves at speed that depends on their wavelengths. Dispersion is sometimes called the separation of light into colors, an effect more properly called angular dispersion.
At last, we want to thank CBSE for such great innovative idea of a project. We would also like to thank our physics faculty and our guide Miss Sangeeta Borole and our principal sir Mr. R.K. Borole for support. Also thanks to our family and group members for support.